Road. Hi, I'm Izzy Basie Fisher, and this is All in Yellow, a podcast dedicated to all things Norwich City Women and the Women's National League South East. And today I'm joined by Oliver. To introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm Oliver. I come from teams like Luton. We're a Luton fan base page. We produce news and videos for fans to watch on the women's and men's team.
Okay, so a quick starter, obviously pre-season, that's how I found you guys. You seem to have a good coverage of the goals, especially for pre-season. A mixed bag of results. What did you think of it? Because obviously Norwich, we had some difficult games that we ended up losing. It was sort of expected. Did you expect the results you got?
Some games we came into against lower face sides, but then we went into other games against teams such as Rugby Borough, who are one division above. So you were expecting losses, but it's more about just the challenge of playing teams in this division. We played Maidenhead Women. That was a close game, just to show that we can compete in the league.
Yeah, so obviously in pre-season, I got in touch with you because I'd heard about players coming about. I heard a lot of QPR trialists. I think you had something that's trialist H at one point on your team sheets. Looking at your new signings, you've only ended up with 2 from QPR, but 11 new signings. How much of an impact did they have in that pre-season? Did they affect the results at all?
They had large impacts. I think in our first few games, it was only the trialists that scored. We've got in a few attackers, a few midfielders, a new goalkeeper, and they've all made huge impacts straight off the bat.
Yeah. One I looked at was Courtney Ward-Chamber. She's always been one on my radar from QPR. Always seems to deliver. I've noticed she's your top goal scorer. Is she one that's definitely put in a good performance so far?
She got a suspension against Cambridge, so we haven't seen her in the last 2 matches. But she started the season really well with a goal against Dulwich. She's just the offer off of Tash Fensom, so it's looking good up front for us.
Yeah. I mean, a red card's not really ideal, is it? But do you think that's played any part? I mean, Cambridge was sort of a bit of a big loss, but I know you started sort of well in the season. I'd say your cup's been pretty good.
We picked up 6 points in the cup.
Yeah, I think
6 points isn't the worst, and we had a good start. I think we lost heavy to Actonians and Cambridge, but obviously with the players that we were missing for a few of them games, and I think the Cambridge game away, the ref wasn't really on our side, and Actonians we conceded 3 goals in 5 minutes, so it was just a blip. So we just got to keep our heads up.
Yeah, so would you say, I mean, we had a controversial decision a couple of weeks ago that ended up on the socials with a goal. I don't know if you've seen it, from Ellie Bishop, and everyone went mental. They said it didn't cross the line. What have you thought of the rest? Because obviously last season, I don't know what the rest were like, but I know they've got a reputation in this league for being hit and miss. Have you found that's how you feel about it?
Well, the only game that I've missed so far is the Cambridge game, and I've heard a lot of slack about that ref, so we'll stick with that. But other than that, some of the refs we were getting last season were just a show off on the day.
Oh, okay.
Very different sizes and.
Yeah, so you've found this a different standard coming up this year, would you say?
Yeah, it feels a lot more professional this season. The surrounding the club, whether that's the media from the FAW now, just the whole thing. Even refs and linesmen have just been a key step up.
Well, I suppose that's a positive, but obviously you find yourself 9th now in the table. Was that expected, or has it just been a big of a step?
I think we've come up into the league and no one was really sure where we'd be around. We've lost many players. We've only signed on 9 from last season. So we've lost many and bringing in many new faces. So it was going to be a rough start for us, no matter what. So getting games out of the way yourself so early on is important for us. But we're looking at it as a fan base, and we're almost separating the league into 2. So it's you'd want to be finishing above sides such as Sudbury and MK, but then teams like yourself and Fulham just sort of allowing whatever happens.
Yeah, well, we say it when we play at Carrow Road. QPR, must say, was an exception, but we all say we've got the Carrow Road curse. We seem to draw and lose against teams like Cambridge last year, and you think, how have we managed that? But are you hoping that maybe it comes into play again next week?
We can only hope. We've got a lot of fans going up by the sounds of it, and I think many of them are going in with hopeful thoughts, but we're not exactly the most sure.
No, I suppose a good fan base. We had the last big away fan group we had was Ipswich, and well, we all know how that ended, 4-0. So maybe we hope. I mean, I'd quite like the win. It'd be quite good after the last 2 weeks of losses. But what would you take? What would you take from the Carrow Road game?
A point. I think everyone at the club would take a point.
Yeah,
It's probably one of the biggest games, like ground and the situation that you're in compared to us. It will just be a good away day for the fans.
yeah,
A different experience to some of the grounds that we were being hosted at last season. To be able to go to one of these grounds, and it's already sold more than 2,000 tickets.
yeah.
So that's more than like the 20 that you get away at Royston, for example.
I know what you mean by that. But so obviously you play at Barton Rovers. I'm assuming that's a little bit more like when we play at the Nest. Not as many fans, not a big of occasion. What is that like in comparison? I suppose you haven't been to the Nest, but how would you describe that to anyone considering doing the away game later?
Barton is a really nice, like family-centered place. Good food, good bar, and I think everyone's really welcoming there. The pitch is a bit meh. Whereas, like on the pitch, it's not the flattest, so we describe it as the Barton Bobble. So every team that will come to us, they'll be caught out by how bad the pitch is.
I'm not now looking forward to this game so much. Perhaps that'll play into your hands when we come to you. We always seem to our disadvantage is grass pitches. I always think we always when we played at QPR. I always think, oh, that grass it doesn't travel. We find compared to 3Gs. So maybe you'll get the 3 points there if you don't get the point this weekend. But obviously big grounds. Obviously Barton, you've got your bobble pitch. You've got your advantages. Do you get any opportunity to play at like Kenilworth Road with the new ground coming? Is that something a possibility?
I've had a few conversations this season, and we're hoping for 1 or 2 games this season. We had one last season, and that was for the County Cup final against Real Bedford, which we lost. But
so was that? I suppose that was probably put on by the county rather than the club.
Yeah, rather than the club. So we're hoping that the club's had a lot more like media and like putting stuff towards the women's team in the last few seasons. So we're hoping that we should get a game at the Kenny this season.
Yeah. What game would you like there? Would you like a bigger team or a team that you might be able to get a couple of goals against?
I think it all depends on what they think for attendance. Because, like, for example, you could bring like QPR here and sell it as Luton versus QPR, which is 2 fan bases that aren't big fans of each other. And then you get a few, or you have like a lower tier clash where hopefully we can put a few goals in the net to sell us as positive. But
would you be mad?
We'll be lucky to get a goal.
Yeah,
we'll be lucky to get a game there.
Put one on for us, perhaps. Maybe a stretch since you haven't had any. But would you prefer it against us? Maybe.
I mean, I don't prefer any game at the Kenny. It's a lot better than Barton for like stadium wise. But I think everyone loves Barton. It's so like local, and everyone just gets along. Like there's no like restrictions to stand. It's like you can just walk around the pitch, so everyone just like communicates with each other.
Do you have a sort of away section? We don't have one at the Nest. Everyone seems to, when the away fans come, they find their own spot. But do you have one? You say it's like quite close, but would you be a bit like, oh, away fans sort of don't mingle too much?
I think every away fan base that we've had at Barton this season has just been like respectful, or they haven't had like many there. They're no like restricted area. It's just like go wherever you want. Yeah. We had Dulwich here. They were all like just friendly with our fans, and MK Dons didn't bring as many.
Oh, that surprises me.
It was for the cup, but
maybe that's why then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you find, obviously, being around Luton, who's your biggest rivals in this league?
In this league, I'd look at the league and I just don't think we have any. Probably QPR if we're
Yeah.
thinking in the league.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I
then,
suppose we don't have any either. But we always seem to play Cambridge enough that we've made that a sort of, oh, we want to win that, even though they're blooming miles away.
there's,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
they're ours. But you say QPR.
if I was to pick a rivalry in this division that we're in, it would be QPR, just for
Yeah.
like the men's side of the game. But
Mhm.
I don't think the women's side have that big of a rivalry with clubs in this division. I think we have a slight hatred for Real Bedford, who obviously you lost to at the
Yeah, I
weekend.
think everyone has a bit of a hate towards them. We always, when we play them, you want to beat them, and they always seem to come away with a point or a win, and you're like, oh, this is just typical. And we always laugh at their post-match interviews, and they say, oh, we deserve the 3 points, and you sit there and go, no, you really didn't, or you really did, and this is just annoying. But yeah, no, I definitely say Real Bedford are a team everyone wants to beat, really.
I mean, we were looking at your result of the weekend, and we were just praying that you'd get the goal back, and obviously
Yeah.
it never came.
To be honest, I said to one of the girls at school, because she always sort of asked me about how the weekend was, and I said I don't think that the result actually reflected the game. I thought we had more chances. They weren't clear-cut chances, but we had lots of attack and stuff like that. So I think we were unfortunate not to get a goal, but at the end of the day, they were clinical. I think they only had 6 or 7 chances, all on target, all challenged our keeper, and inevitably half of our crosses were an easy catch. So I suppose you got to go on to the next cup game and hope we do better. But no, Bedford losing 2-0 to Bedford's never fun, especially after Fulham. But hopefully, I think Peterborough have got them next, so hopefully they'll do a better job than we did. But no, I don't think there's massive rivals in this league. I think we've obviously got 2 Ipswich players in, and they've just slid straight into the team. No one.
Yeah.
I mean, I spoke to Eloise King, and she said, "Oh, we get a bit of stick for it, but they don't. They don't. There's no sort of distancing or like, oh, you've come from Ipswich or anything like that." So no, I know what you mean, but yeah. So I'm trying to think what else I've got to say. Oh yeah, so you had the 903-day unbeaten streak. Um, Obviously losing it against Actonians, was it, at home?
Yes.
Was that expected, or was it a bit like, oh, that was quite impressive. We wanted it a bit longer.
I think after Cambridge, we came into the Actonians game being like, we needed a good result, and it was a really tight competition in the first half. However, we let it slip from a free kick from the halfway line, silly goal, and then within the space of 5 minutes, we were 3-0 down, and it was just
That's
coming to an end.
not an ideal result. What did you think of them though? Because obviously we played them opening day 4-0, and I was surprised at. I wouldn't say it was an easy game, but I was surprised at the scoreline we created. Did you find that they weren't the team you're expecting, or were they exactly what you expected?
I think they were in the bottom section of what we'd expected between the split of the two,
Yeah.
but they were easily just showing more competition than us, like just winning more balls. They looked more aggressive than us. We showed good glimpses against them, but they also showed good glimpses. And then it was just one of them games where it's like the first team to get the ball in the back of the net was obviously just going to run away with it. And sadly enough, it was them.
So it was sort of on the day you just got a bit unlucky, and then that was your game put to bed sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we won't have many of them this season.
I don't know when you've got teams like Sudbury and things, but they seem to have really not been too sharp this season. Are they the sort of teams you're expecting to do really well against? Or have you set yourself a marker?
After we play you, we've got MK away, Chatham and Sudbury.
So is that like bumper games you want some good points from?
Yeah, I think if we're not picking up points in them games, then we'll start to worry. But at the minute, we're sort of just calm. Obviously, we're doing well in the cup.
Yeah.
We've looked good at points in the league, and I think we're just waiting for the team to just gel together and then kickstart from there.
Obviously, with the cup, I assume the league is always everyone's priority, especially either we want promotion, that's a priority. Things like, is does like relegation staying up? I assume you're not going for promotion this year. So is it just a case of not getting relegated and developing, and maybe the cup is something what's the word? Like you. Oh my god, I've got it in my head. Like you focus on the cup. Is that something you want, or would you
I
just
think the
do
cup's
whatever?
always just a bonus, but
Mhm.
we've solely focused on the league. I think everyone around the club's just thinking, as long as we come like second to bottom and don't end up going
Yeah.
down, and it's a very good season for us. Just to like build on this season and then next season throw ourselves at it type thing.
Yeah. I know last year you did really well in the FA Cup and got to the fifth round. How how good was that for the team as like a morale boost? And is it something you'd like to do this season?
Uh, we like a good FA Cup run. We played Brighton a few seasons at
Mhm.
Barton and then got knocked out. But last season it was a very good run. We played Stevenage, I think, in round 4, and it was
Yeah.
32 penalties taken.
Wow.
We won on penalties. That was probably one
Yeah.
of my favourite days of last season, just
Mhm.
football related. And then I couldn't make it to Portsmouth, but by the
Maybe that
sounds
was
of it, yeah, it was it was a good day for some of the fans just to get to
Mhm.
a big club like that. And
Yeah.
we're hoping to do it again this season. I think it's just an add-on, and obviously, the further you go in competitions like that, the more positive mentality around the changing
Yeah.
rooms and the fan base. So hopefully, we can repeat that this season.
Yeah. Do you have a preference on your favourite cup? Obviously now you've got the League Cup. Which one would you say is your favourite County Cup, League or FA Cup?
I don't mind. I'll take any silverware this season.
Yeah. A
If we can get
big
anything, our hands on anything, then that's like a very good add-on. But I think we'll probably aim for the County Cup again, just
yeah.
to
Win it
re-go
this
at
year.
that.
That sounds pretty good. Win at Kenilworth Road, Real Bedford. Always be a good result.
I mean, it was a very big defeat last season, but
Yeah.
we're hoping to go again. We'll probably somehow end up drawing them again in the final, and it will just like match pass all the way there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just anything that we can get our hands or
Yeah.
close to will be good.
So last year, obviously, trophy. Next year, another trophy. Be quite a nice run. It's not like us. We've been kicked out of the county cup. They said we're not a grassroots team anymore. So I think promotion is our best hope at a trophy this year. They said they made a huge petition and all sorts last year after our win, but I suppose that's how it gets when you go professional. We've been taken out, but oh well. I mean, I shouldn't complain. But another thing is signings, obviously, cups and things like that. Did you know of anyone? Like, did you think? Because we sometimes think, "Oh, I'm glad we've signed them. We wanted them." Is there anyone that you've signed that you were really glad you'd signed, or is there anyone that you can say you saw trialing that you didn't end up getting that you're a bit disappointed about?
I think most of the trialists that came in were fully signed on
Mhm.
by the point that they were trialists, but it was just late to be announced.
Yeah.
I think they all look really positive. We only kept 9 from last season, and 2 of them
Mhm.
were in the development squad. So it's only 7 in the squad. The rest are
Yeah.
all new signings, pretty much. So we've brought in many like with good experience. Summer
Yeah.
Walker, who previously won the league with Notts County.
Mhm.
Obviously, Courtney Ward Chambers and Nicole Mellon from QPR. We have
Mhm.
both really good experience in this league. And then we brought in the 3 Real Bedford players in Taylor O'Leary, Amy McLean, and Emily Wilson, who have all
Mhm.
had like big impacts so far this season. Whilst also adding like little sparks like Sasha Smith and Lisa Milliken, who both helped out fullback wise. It's going to be, once this team gels, I think we should be doing well in the league.
Yeah. Do you think that without those signings, you'd be in the position you want to be in or currently are in the league? Or do you think that they will make a difference, but currently they've not made the big difference?
I think like so far, we've seen sparks from most of them, but
Mhm.
it doesn't look 100% like we're just waiting for the gel, as I've said multiple times now. But once this clicks, I think the team should just be like class together.
Would you describe yourself a little bit like London City Lionesses, perhaps, with their 16 signings? Or would you say, or just in the league below, or would you say that no, that's not really the case?
I think it's so hard to judge because we didn't know much about the signings when they came in. So adding all these new faces, it's like everyone's still getting used to them. Like I get to match days now and I'm like, who's that? Just don't recognise the faces. I think we lost quite a lot of players as well from last season. Like we lost both our captain and vice captain, Jess McKay and Ellie Wade, who played big impacts last season, whilst also losing Gab Spillman, who was on a dual contract with Crystal Palace's youth squad. So losing them three players who played three big impacts last season, doing the double of the League Cup and the league, is obviously like big losses in the changing rooms and around them.
Yeah, it's not always ideal, is it? Obviously, you say you've lost your captain, lost your vice. I see you've got your new captain is Layla Maddox. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
What was she sort of? I know we obviously lost Megan Todd, and we've had new captain. It wasn't necessarily the most expected player. How she settled in for you? Was she obviously? I assume she was there last year. So what she been like?
Leia's been here for a good few seasons now. She's like the recognisable face for Luton Ladies now after Jess McKay's gone. So she was like the obvious pick for captain after losing the captain and vice captain. I think she stepped up really well and like she's just like a friendly face. Fans get on with her. Like community wise, she was like the face of the kit launch for Luton's actual kit this season. So it's good to see like the development of the squad, of her being the face now of Luton Ladies.
You obviously said quickly a little bit about community stuff and obviously the face of the kit launch. Do you do much? Because I assume you must have a pathway. Do they get much involved with that, or are they sort of get on with match days, get on with training, bit of kit? Is that it?
Yeah, a bit like that. I mean, it's a mix and match.
Yeah, I assume obviously because we have some professional contracts, they're expected to do a lot more. What is? I mean, I bet you don't know exactly what the ins and outs pays and things are, but do you know like what they're expected upon? Do they get much? Do they get just a bit of travel fees, a bit of match fees, or do you know much about it?
I generally have no clue.
No.
It's not anything that like when I'm face to face with people, I'll ask.
Yeah.
It's a bit personal, but I wouldn't even have a guess for you.
No. So I suppose then there's not some like major contracts because I suppose you'd know about a professional contract or something that'd be big news. So I suppose it's sort of like quite a lot of teams in this league that to do their job on match days. There's probably a few fees behind the doors, but nothing crazy. They don't expect to do mad things.
No,
Would you say?
definitely not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, last one. What can Norwich City fans expect from Luton? You said you've got quite a lot of you coming up to the game. What can we expect from you? Because obviously I hope that the fans that come put on a decent performance and chance, but what can we expect from you? Are you going to be nice and loud? Or what are you like as fans on an away day?
I don't know. It was so hard to judge because it depends on how far it is. But this is like our first proper big groundish to go to. So I think we should bring around a few. But there should be a few chants started. We can only hope.
Yeah. What are you like with chants? Because we had obviously Chatham last year and Dulwich. They were quite big characters when they came, but we don't usually get anyone do much apart from a couple of cheers and claps. What are you like in terms of chants? Is it sort of the classic Luton ones, or you got a couple of women's
It's all
specials?
just the classics, pretty much. Obviously, it'll all depend on the situation of whether we're chanting after the score after 10 minutes. Hopefully,
it'll start very positive, but we can't guarantee much after the first couple of minutes.
Well, if we go 1-0 up early, then
you'll be going for it. Yeah, but you think you'll start good, depending on the score, it'll change. Do you think even if you go down, you'll keep it going?
Yeah, I don't think, as I said, I don't think many are going up there expecting to get the win. So it's more just like a positive day to celebrate how far we've come almost. The fact that we're now playing at these big grounds, such as yourself in the league, and then looking at like MK the week after, and then maybe Craven Cottage or Loftus Road near the end of the season. It's just like positive to view how far we've come.
I haven't actually asked you. Are you going to the game, Carrow Road? Do you go to many of the away games? I assume you must go to the home games, seeing as you've described the atmosphere quite well. But how many do you go to?
I think I did most of the away days last season because they were more local based, because obviously the league split more. But yeah, I'll be there at Norwich.
Yeah. Which ones, have you got any plans on which other ones you're going to do? Anyone coming can look out for you at a Luton game?
Well, most of the grounds this season are all London based, so they're quite easily accessible from Luton.
Yeah.
So probably all the London games. And then I missed out on the Cambridge game last second because my train got cancelled.
Oh, bit annoying.
Yeah, but I'll be up in Norwich, so it'll be all good.
Yeah. Well, that's all for All in Yellow. I've been Izzy and you've been
Oliver.
Thank you ever so much for coming on. Right, bear with. This will take a minute to stop recording.
That's all for this episode of Beyond the Barclay. Thanks for listening and supporting the podcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to follow, leave a review and share it with fellow Norwich City fans. We'll be back soon with more insight and discussion from around Carrow Road. Until then, on the ball, City.